What's going on, guys? This is Shelby checking in. Day one of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. And I gotta say, it's nice to kick it off. It's a fresh viewing. I haven't watched this movie in probably about 1 or 2 months. I usually watch it around once every 2 months, I feel like. So I'm coming in fresh. It all feels new again. Beautiful, clean movie. Good family fun. It's great to just start off the Halloween season, the Samhain season, with the Silver Shamrock jingle. I'm real stoked. This is gonna be a feat, but a labor of love for sure. So, day one in the books. Love it as much as I always have, and I'm sure watching it 31 times in a row will not affect that opinion at all. If anything, I'll probably find like one obscure thing to key in on and obsess about each time. So I'm looking forward to that. Probably going to be Chalice hanging dong and Linda being a bitch. But, we'll find out. Stay tuned for day two. October 1st is in the books. Okay. Day two. Viewing 2 of Halloween 3 in the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. Still holding strong. Opinions have not changed. Decided to watch the DVD version instead of the Blu-ray, and I'm still impressed at how well that one has held up quality-wise. Looks pretty damn good. Sound is great. Picture's great. Even on a 4K screen, having that stretched out doesn't really seem to make much of a difference. You don't see a lot of grainy stretching or artifacts from upscaling. So it's a great rendition of it. Doesn't take anything away from it. Just still impressed at the rewatchability of this movie. It is such a smooth, succinct journey in an anthology nugget. And it really does make you wonder what could have and should have been with the Halloween franchise if it had been able to stretch its legs as an anthology series versus just becoming another slasher title pissing contest. So it's day 2 in the books. We'll keep on going. Hope you'll join me. Shelby out. Hello everybody. I'm coming to you on day 3 of the Halloween 3 31 Days movie challenge. And I'm a little more scholarly today. I've got my glasses on. A little bit of a recovery day. I was at the big UK Florida game last night, and that was a hell of a run, hell of a game, and just kind of hanging around the house. I actually watched a lot of movies today. I actually also watched Kiki's Delivery Service and My Neighbor Totoro. So it was a bit of a Studio Ghibli day, but it was also, I made time to put in my Samhain practice and queued up old H3. And I watched the DVD version again today, just because that was easiest. I'm trying to find my Steelbook that's got the 4K mastered version in it. I'm pretty sure the copy that I've ripped a digital version for that I'll be using on my iPad is also the DVD version. And again, I'm just really impressed at how well that conversion has held up. It really looks good for a DVD, which I guess maxes out at 720, if that. I'm not 100% sure. But it's definitely not high definition, but it looks great. It upscales pretty well to my 4K TV, which is not any top-of-the-line model. It's like a 2017 Vizio. But it does have HDR, and it's got Dolby Vision capability. I think it's a 422, so it's not full color spectrum. So even when I get like nice ultra-high-definition discs, it doesn't have the full color gamut, but you can tell a difference with newer stuff. But all the tech stuff aside, it looks great. Plot still holds up. I'm still loving it. You will not break me. And this is my day 3 entry. October the 3rd. We have 28 more blissful days of Halloween 3. And I still have a few days of watching it in my in my home theater, but I think what I might do for these days when I have to go to the office, I might actually just watch it on my iPad on my desk, and I'm gonna practice like multitasking while playing the movie and see how that works. I'm gonna be experiencing different levels of engagement here because the work week is coming up, and I'm probably going to watch it during work hours, maybe multiple times during work hours. I'm going to try some new formats, maybe set it up to listen to it in the car, audiobook style. So lots of possibilities. I'm excited to break them all down. But day 3 in the books. I hope you're keeping up if you're following along at home. Shelby out. Where would you like to sleep, Dr. Chalice? That's a stupid question. This is day 4. Shelby checking in for the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. And man, I just really am not feeling any fatigue yet. I don't know how to describe this. I think this may be like one of the most perfect movies ever. I'm pretty sure you could watch this 31 times in a row. There's a very short list of movies I feel like you could do this with. I'm just in awe. So today, I did watch from my office. I was stuck in the office doing some work, and I mainly watched on the iPad, so not the full experience as watching it on a large screen, but definitely enough of an experience to get my Samhain in. So, plus, being able to watch it at the office makes me seem less insane to those close to me that have to put up with this challenge. I think a lot of people are concerned about my mental and spiritual health embarking on such a, quote, stupid challenge. I have doubters out there, and I will not be broken. I will not break my fast. This is my religion. I have successfully, I do believe I'll have some new conversions this year. One of my favorite things to do is to put new people onto this movie. I have successfully converted about 7 or 8 people over the years. People that had never seen it before watched it and imbibed the gospel of the Silver Shamrock legacy. So we do have a screening. So one of my video logs I'll try to do from the actual screening, and we can maybe get some other people's opinions on the movie. So that's exciting. So yeah, day 4, still holding out. You won't break me. This movie won't break me. We got 28 days to go. No, I can't do math. 27 days to go. Yes. 31 minus 4 is 27. Okay? I have a high school diploma and I have a bachelor's degree in biology, not math. Okay? So, Shelby out. I'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat place. Hello, my horrible little friends, and welcome to day 5 of the, some say ill-advised, 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. This is Shelby from SPF Entertainment. Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you've been following. And Mazel Tov to all of you that have joined me in this expedition of fear and loathing in Halloween. So viewing number 5 today was pretty crazy. Had a lot of crap going on. So I had to watch it late. Had to watch it multitasking again today. And I think my number one observation when the movie's on in the background, per se, is how easy it is to... I mean, I know I've watched this movie like dozens of times, if not at least 100 times. It's how easy it is to kind of just jump right back into it. It's not a crazy complex storyline, but it does a good job of like reintroducing what's going on without being too like exposition heavy. Um, it's nice. It's just an easy movie. It's simple in its premise, but it's great in its execution. And like I thought, that's something I feel like makes it so infinitely rewatchable. And I think I've mentioned that several times, and I'll probably continue to mention that is that it really does not get exhausting to watch this movie a bunch of times because it's just a nice, clean. It honestly it feels like a longer format like Twilight Zone episode. Like truly, it has a great little encapsulated story, and it really does make you feel bad, makes you sad, makes you wish that the Halloween franchise had become this sort of anthology storytelling where maybe you got a 1 and a 2 part thing like Halloween 1 and part 2 is the Michael Myers story, but you'd have these one-off stories. And like the fact that the appearance of Michael Myers in this movie is the presence of Halloween being the smash hit horror movie in the Halloween 3 universe. Like Michael Myers isn't real in Halloween 3. The Halloween movies are real in Halloween 3. So it's like a cool multiverse too. And I just think that's not appreciated enough. And I think that's part of like the genius of like the John Carpenter universe is several of his, and we've gone over this in other retrospectives. There are several of his movies that are tied together in the same universes, and I think that fact is lost on a lot of people if you're not really into his stuff, and you really should be. If you're a horror fan and you're not into John Carpenter stuff, then you're doing it wrong, because we wouldn't have what we have without his influence. And like I said, Halloween 3 is just got it, baby. And Day 5, still hanging in there, still going strong, even when the world's beating the shit out of me. I still got time for my one true love. So, Shelby, out. See you tomorrow. Howdy, hi, ho there. What would you call it? Shamrock Tears instead of Mouseketeers? Don't sue me, Disney. Shamrock Tears. Halloweenies. My Schleebies. Shelby checking in with day 6 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. Make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the channel. SPF Entertainment has lots of crazy stuff going on all year long. This is just one of many ill-advised adventures and shows we participate in. You don't want to miss out. So thank you if you subscribe. Thank you in advance because I know you're going to. And day 6 thoughts. Well, it's kind of a heavy day for me. It's the last day that I'm 29. I will be turning 30 tomorrow, October the 7th. So this is the end of an era. And I have to say that I've done a lot of things wrong the past 29 years, but the one thing I've done right is watching this movie an obsessive amount of times. So, had to watch it in the office again today. Really wearing out the iPad version. Thank God you don't have to worry about tracking on it. But, man, it just still hits. I was able to actually watch it more today in the office instead of having it in the background. And I think my favorite part of the movie, it's hard to really pin it down. I really like all the Silver Shamrock commercial like interstitials, but I also really love the Cochran monologue when Chalice is trying to stop him and he gets captured the first time there in the final arc of the movie. Just when he talks about Samhain and the last great harvest was over 3,000 years ago because this dude is like an immortal warlock, and it's just such a cool. Just the whole mythos of this thing is just so cool, and I just love the Celtic roots of the Samhain and the witchcraft, and it's just really strikes. It really strikes the tagline "Season of the Witch" to a T. But yeah, still hits, still love it. I'm sure I'll love it just as much as a 30-year-old as I did my first 29 years. And so tune in tomorrow for a special birthday episode of the Halloween 31 Days of Halloween 3 Challenge. Maybe I'll do a couple shots with you to celebrate. So, Shelby, 29-year-old Shelby, take it in. It's all downhill from here. I've peaked. So, goodbye, youth. Hello, death. All right, everybody. It's me on my birthday, my 30th birthday, Shelby, wearing my Escape from New York Fright Rags t-shirt, which I dearly love. And I've got a weird request. Patrick sent me a video that he wants me to watch live and get a reaction for. So I'm going to open that up. I have no idea what the hell this is going to be. So let's see what's going on here. So, let me get... I think it's... Yeah.
Working on it.
Okay, so I'm going to change the audio. And we're going to start it now.
Shelby, happy birthday. Down here working on the new set area for us. But just wanted to take a second to wish you happy birthday. Cheers.
The Silver Shamrock, classy.
And ask you a question about Halloween 3. You're now on day 7 of watching Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and what is something you've noticed in regards to Dan Chalice through 7 viewing? Something you haven't picked up on beforehand? Something that's reconfirmed? What are your thoughts on old Dan through 7 days straight? Happy birthday, and I can't wait to celebrate with you in person, so have a good one.
Okay. Our first viewer question of the challenge. What is my opinion of Dan Chalice 7 times in a row yet? Well, he doesn't like to waste time, as we see. But, you know, Ellie, the whole thing of Ellie, I think Dan he's a guy who obviously we're dropped into a world where he's got some kind of strained, divorced relationship with Linda and the kids, and it sounds like, you know, he has a stupid busy schedule, and he never keeps that schedule, and that creates a lot of tension. And so I think Dan, honestly, he had a pretty tough run, even though he's a bit of a playboy there. I mean, it's not a... It kind of like this movie gives him a little sliver of happiness, and then I think it ultimately takes it all away, because not only, if you watch this is going to be a spoiler, you know, Ellie is dead, and the end of the movie is really inconclusive. So honestly, it's kind of dark in that you just don't have that nice... He's happy for one night with Ellie, and it all gets taken away because he has to try to save the world, and it wasn't his job. It wasn't something he signed up to do. He just got caught up in the whole ordeal. So I think Dan Chalice is a tragic character. Ultimately, I think this movie is a tragic movie. Ultimately, and I think that holds up. And as a 30-year-old, a newly minted 30-year-old, my maturity allows me to see this in a different realm. And I was so immature in my 20s. This movie is astounding, full of taste, and it's just articulate and beautiful and tragic. So that's your new layer. That's my 7th watching. This is October the 7th. If you have not already subscribed, please subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you. And check out some of our other movies and shows and things we've discussed. We've got all kinds of great content, and we're just going to keep doing it here at SPF. So, happy birthday to me. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I guess this video will immortalize my 30th birthday. What a way to spend it, talking about one of my favorite movies of all time while wearing a shirt of another one of my favorite movies of all time. And no surprise here, folks, it's John Carpenter classics all day, every day. So, yeah, thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be headed on the road, and we'll probably be watching with Patrick if time allows. We've got going to hang out all weekend and get some SPF filming done, but I am not going to slack. I will be turning in my assignments as required by this blood contract and oath that I've made with the great ones. Derek will see to it that I fulfill my obligation, or else I'll be going on a new vacation and you won't see me for a while. So it's very important that I stick to my posting schedule. And tonight ran a little late because I had to party, but I watched my movie. I actually watched it in the office today, so I did all that. And yeah, that's my thoughts. Dan Chalice, tragic character in a tragic movie, but still a fucking great movie. And that's it. That's Shelby's first day as a 30-year-old. These are important thoughts. This will get played again on my deathbed, and all of my ancestors will groan when they hear yet again about Halloween 3. So, you saw it here first in the year 2021. So, see you tomorrow. So, if you've been tuning in live, you probably have already heard from me tonight. This is day 8 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'm Shelby. Please like and subscribe. And this is the first day away from the sit-down setup. So you got to get used to some cell phone videos and some laptop recorded videos, because this is the best you're going to get. Day 8 thoughts. Well, I watched it in the car. Not the safest thing to do. I had it playing in like the passenger seat on the iPad over the car's like Bluetooth system. So I was mainly listening more than just watching. Okay, I wasn't like watching the movie while driving. It's crazy. People don't do crazy stuff like that. Insurance, don't drop me. But man, it just, we're working our asses off here at the studio this weekend, but you know, I'm still finding time to watch something that I love, and you can't take that away from me. And the doubters are starting to come out of the woodwork, but they're not going to get me down. They're not going to get me down. Still got 20. How many days? 22. 22. No, 23. 23 days left. So, yeah, so holding on strong. Holding on all. Holding on for Dan. He needs us more than you could ever imagine right now. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Shelby, out. All right, so day 9, live here at the studio. Got Patrick with me. This is the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. Please like and subscribe to the SBF social medias. But day 9 thoughts.
Yeah, we actually watched this one together tonight. First time I've watched it this season. This is the 9th time. Well, probably more like the 11th time in the past month he's watched it, but in consecutive days, it's the 9th day he's watched it.
Still slaps.
Picked up a couple things on my own. Some continuity errors. I'll have to go back and rewatch again. But the biggest takeaway on this with me is, years ago I read on a forum that someone was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool," but like, for some reason today it picked up for me, like when he's at the very end, when he's going through the channels and saying, you know, turn the first channel off, the second channel off, the third channel. You know, when people try to figure out what happened at the end of the movie, if he was successful or not, lots of people are like, well, he was successful, because the tongue-in-cheek thing was he kept saying the third channel, turn off the third channel. With Halloween 3, it's the third movie. So some people were thinking, oh, well, it kind of cutting that hard cut of Tom's, you know, screaming in the camera saying stop it, was kind of the indication that they cut off the third channel, aka the third movie, aka the third channel, and were successful. Again, just like I told Shelby not long ago, the novelization paints a different picture, saying that wasn't the case, that Dan was not successful in ending that broadcast, and many children were sacrificed that night via the Silver Shamrock commercial, which, really the ending is perfect because you can go either route, either way with it, and that's the fun thing about it, and that's why that helps. They're all
It's just an hour. It's an hour and 20-minute long Twilight Zone episode.
Right.
You don't really know. It's perfect. There's no conclusion. There really isn't. But I don't see how there wasn't. Chalice stopped 2/3 of the people from dying in the American audience, but I make the argument: how many international markets was this commercial playing in?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cochrane was from Ireland. Are you telling me he didn't at least have a base in the UK and Ireland on TV?
What was the one dude, Buddy, his family's name, his dad, the one that was a buyer from Cochrane. He basically was telling Dan Chalice how much he was an inventor of like all these gags and tricks.
Well, he's been inventing stuff worldwide. He was like a prankster, like it was all prank stuff. So he has an international market.
This guy being the businessman he is, and could be kind of, get everything down to the, all the details in line. You're gonna tell me he doesn't have a contingency plan where if something goes awry, he doesn't have a fallback or a successor.
And I think that's the whole point. Is like it was witchcraft and technology, and Dan Chalice destroying the factory did not destroy the process because it was already set in motion. Each one of those chips was its own instance, right? And the programming on television networks is completely decentralized. Even back then, it was decentralized to a certain degree. I mean, there was less channels, but you still had different networks, and you couldn't get them all to turn off that quickly. Making phone calls, I mean. Who's going to answer a phone at 9 o'clock at night?
Right.
On a holiday evening, right? I mean, so I guess you can make the argument that Halloween isn't celebrated in every country, but yeah, sure. I mean, how would you know that there wasn't some kind of other holiday that got co-opted for a Silver Shamrock scheme? I mean,
yeah,
they're warlocks. They're using dark magic. They can figure out lots of ways to do it.
And let us know in the comments which of the three skeleton, pumpkin, or which one is your favorite mask?
And remember, tune in for the big giveaway, 9 o'clock.
We should totally do a giveaway on the very last one. On that Sunday.
If you keep engaging, yes. We'll see if we engage back. So, this is Shelby.
This is Patrick.
This is day 9 of the challenge. I did my homework. Day 10, can't believe it's already been 10 days. Day 10 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge here on SPF Entertainment. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. If you are new to this adventure, I recommend you watch the entire playlist and go through the entire day-by-day decline or incline of my thoughts regarding Halloween 3, one of the penultimate seasonal movies and yearly movies. So day 10. Well, I was on the road back from Patrick's. If you've been tuning in daily here, days 8 and 9, I recorded on the road while in town with him to work on some streaming content. So I actually played this one in the car again on the way back to Lexington, and I was kind of thinking about what we discussed from our observations yesterday, and like trying to keep an eye out for continuity goofs and such. And I think Patrick kind of made the observation as well. I don't think he said it in the video, but we were like talking about like Marge Gutman not noticing the chip on the floor, like having the microchip on the back of it, even though it had been detached. She was complaining about the quality of masks, and that's why she was having beef with. She wanted to talk with Cochrane because like the the trademark was falling off the mask too easily, but she'd somehow not noticed that there was a weird chip on the back of the trademark on the side that faced the mask. So just wondering the depth of that and how many other people noticed. So how many misfires were there was kind of like our line of thought was like they called it a misfire, her accident that's caused by her messing with the chip, the laser shoots out of it. How many other misfires were there? They obviously happened enough for there to be an official classification on the research and development end. So that's kind of like a fun tangent in this Halloween 3 universe to go on, is like how many other people met their fate before the big giveaway because of these chips, this technology that had been in the hands of assumingly hundreds of thousands of customers, if not millions, worldwide. So that was kind of something that I kind of got my head spinning. I was kind of thinking about that today, how fun that would be to have a spin-off of that. If you had shots of that happening, that'd be pretty funny. And like bring the scale of this entire heist into perspective. But yeah, 10 days in, still going strong. Got a lot of travel and crazy events coming up. Got Patrick getting married in 3 days. I've got a hunting trip for 5 days. I've got another wedding I'm going to. But I'm going to do this update every day, and I may be holding a cell phone with 1 bar of coverage trying to get the version uploaded, but I'm going to power through. I'm going to deliver. We're going to get through this together. I'm pretty excited. This Friday, the 15th, I believe, yes, the 15th, we're going to be doing a group viewing, a group showing of the movie. Jamie Norris will be there. You may know him if you've watched any of our SPF Sauced content. He's the host of that show, and I'm the victim in that one. But we're going to do a little group showing, and I'm going to have some new conversions to Halloween 3, so I'm very excited for that. But until then, we'll take it one day at a time. This is day 10, the 31 Days of Halloween 3 Challenge. I'm Shelby. This is SPF Entertainment, and thank you for tuning in. Hello, this is Shelby. This is day 11 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 Challenge. Please like and subscribe if you have not already to SPF Entertainment's YouTube channel and social medias. And thank you if you already have. So, day 11. An 11th watching in a row. You'd think I'd run out of things to talk about or see, right? Well, you're wrong. So today, I want to dig a little deeper into the other pranks and novelties that Silver Shamrock's produced over the years, because in the movie, during the tour, you hear from Buddy, the salesman, that Cochran is a genius who invented sticky toilet paper. So it's interesting that Silver Shamrock had a fairly innocuous, as far as we can tell, existence business-wise until this whole witchcraft turn with the masks came about. So Cochran knew how to make money and stick around for a few thousand years, and then knew how to weaponize an established name brand to bring the modern harvest of souls that he needed. So I think that's pretty wild if you think about it. That's got to be like one of the most evil corporate strategies of all time. That amount of vision and forethought makes Conal Cochran one of the most nefarious and despicable foes in cinema, I think. But at the same time, very cool. He has a coolness about him. Even though he wants to do despicably horrible things like killing millions of children, I mean, he almost convinces you that it's okay, which is kind of scary. And I just think that's a really neat portrayal of a sinister figure. But like, yeah, the Silver Shamrock conspiracy. How far does it go? How many branches of Silver Shamrock are there? Is that truly the only factory in the world? I mean, it's nuts because he's been around for 3,000 years as a warlock himself, at least, that he mentions like a timeline that he speaks about as if he was there, which sounds like he was. And the little sewing old lady, he says was a model from Munich in the 1700s, and that he'll have to source a new one. Like, he's been turning people into machines on the side while making stuff like sticky toilet paper and little music boxes and animated figurines. I mean, that's just a level of meticulous villainy we just don't get to see anything outside of maybe a Bond villain. So, just something to think about. And I'm probably going to mention it again at some point in this challenge. But yeah, today I was kind of like really in awe of the structure of Silver Shamrock's corporation, skeleton and history. It's just nuts. Nuts. So, that's today's entry. I'll see you tomorrow. How's it going, everybody? This is day 12 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'm Shelby. Please like and subscribe to SPF Entertainment if you haven't already. Day 12 thoughts. Well, today was a pretty busy day. Watched it, multitasked it again today. And this time I tried to pay attention to the soundscape, which we all know that it's a great score. Alan Horwath and John Carpenter, very synthy, very classic, very in motif with the rest of the Carpenter films. But I just love it's just got so many piercing, like, whatever you would call them. It's just every single climactic moment is punctuated with sound, and it really does add to the feelings that are being conveyed in the plot. And I don't know. It's just an insanely well constructed movie in that regard. If you like, it's almost, if you take away the visual element, you just have the sound. It's like an old school audio drama, and that's just so cool. So that's my thought. This one's a little bit shorter today. Getting ready to get packed up and go prepare to celebrate Patrick's wedding tomorrow. So tomorrow will be a wedding day recording. It's going to be interesting to see how I can logistically set that up. Hoping I can do it from my phone. It may not be as nicely edited, but there will be a post. It will get done. And maybe we'll get some celebrating Patrick footage. So, that's Shelby. I'm out. So, welcome to the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. This was supposed to be the day 13 entry on day 13, but Patrick's wedding happened, and the venue was a bit remote, and I was not able to get a video uploaded from the venue in time, just because of the lack of a network. So some unforeseen circumstances caused me to have to drive back a little bit earlier than I normally would have from said location. So I'm back in the home studio here at 4:30 in the morning on the 14th. So it's got the spirit of a day 13 log still. So today will just be a double banger for posting. Once I get some sleep, I'll be putting all these up here. But I did technically leave my thoughts for day 13 on Patrick's actual wedding video, because he left it's the whole thing. There is a clip that will be released at some point, but not until after Patrick's return from his honeymoon and he's had a chance to review the footage, because it's definitely a little extra monologue I've added to the end of what normally would have been a completely benign wedding video. So that's my Halloween 13 contribution for day 13, because it is, or Halloween 3 contribution for day 13, because it's a special day. It's Patrick's wedding, and what I really wanted to highlight, like my observation today in my viewing, was like, is how the relationship between Dan Chalice and Ellie kind of just blossomed, even though they didn't really know each other. Obviously, there was a physical attraction, but Dan Chalice kind of didn't have, or at least what we know of Dan, was not the greatest relationships with. He's got Linda always on his ass, ex-wife, and just dealing with that nonsense the entire movie. She doesn't want to hear his crap. She's so sick and tired of him and all of his excuses, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then you have Ellie Grimbridge, who just kind of shows up out of nowhere because her dad ends up being killed by these, in the hospital, and accidentally kind of unfolds this conspiracy with Silver Shamrock. But, just it seems to be like one of those things where, not to be too corny with it, but maybe sometimes you find love in places you least expect it. Sometimes the people you need in your life are right around the corner. You don't have to look that hard for them. Things just kind of happen. The universe just makes things happen. Whatever you want to believe. So I always thought that was kind of a nice, maybe serendipitous part of the movie where, obviously it was written that way, but it was like, it was kind of nice for a guy like Dan and a gal like Ellie ended up having at least a few moments of happiness together before it all goes south again, because they both seem to be individuals who did not have the greatest of personal lives before the events of said movie, and honestly, they didn't have the greatest of lives after the events of said movie. Once you watch it and understand, so it was kind of nice. It was like the one bright spot in really a universe of darkness that is Halloween 3, and everything that the plots therein set into motion. So that was my day 13 thoughts. I kind of had it. That was I made a more specific case for Patrick and his wedding and his relationship. It was like, you all like Ellie and Dan, but you're gonna end up happy together. But that'll make the special reserve select cut of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge once he's had a chance to review the footage and find that little hidden clip at the end. But I had to put that in there so that there would be something true to my 31 days challenge, where I actually recorded it on the day. So that was my statement of truth, my honor card, being marked that I actually recorded a video, even if it didn't get published until well after the date. But this is my makeup note, where I'm recording at 4:30 in the morning after getting home and making a somewhat duplicate video of my thoughts, but not nearly as well laid out as my prior thoughts on it, now that I've had quite a bit of time to drink and worry about other things. My short-term memory has failed me in that regard, but that was the gist of it. L.E., Dan, Patrick, Amanda, loose connection, love. Hopefully their relationship lasts much longer than the events of the movie and Halloween 3, but you gotta enjoy while you have it. So that's the life lesson. And these are my day 13 thoughts that have been posted on day 14. And I'm Shelby. Thanks for tuning in. Hello. Welcome to day 14 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'm Shelby. Please like and subscribe to the SBF Entertainment channel if you haven't already. If you're already subscribed, thanks for tuning in again. So today was a double posting day. My day 13 thoughts were published earlier today that I recorded 4:30 this morning after getting back from Patrick's wedding, which was in the middle of nowhere, signal-wise. So I talked about love and relationships, which I thought was fitting for the wedding day update. But the October 14 update, the day 14 update, what am I watching for? What did I see? What did I decide to focus on? This time I decided to focus on like color scheme and like the palette of the movie. And this is not an exceptionally bright movie. It's pretty muted. There's only a few actual daytime scenes. Most of this movie occurs at night or interior shots that are fairly dim. As the movie gets progressively darker, it does fit thematically, which is nice. And the brightest colors that you have are either neutral, like Chalice wears khaki and like it's like a pale khaki kind of jacket and khaki pants. And the Silver Shamrock logo is silver and like a bright green. And all the company Silver Shamrock vehicles are white. But it's very muted otherwise. The most spectacular eye-popping colors come from Silver Shamrock's logo and the masks themselves, which is the green witch, there's the bright orange pumpkin jack-o'-lantern, and there's the skeleton or skull. And I guess Ellie and Chalice wear like a colored plaid, but it's just a simple red, it's a simple blue. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see that the brightest colors seem to point to where the most danger is in this movie. And everything else is just intentionally made to be less eye-catching, less distracting. And I think that's a neat delivery device. I don't know if I've really ever paid attention to that before, if I hadn't specifically tried to pay attention to it scene by scene. But like when you go back and obviously I've watched the movie now 14 times in a row, and I think I've seen it 16 times in the last month and a half. You notice that when you intentionally look for it, and then has to be that's obviously an intentional design choice by your cinematographer and your art director to push that kind of imagery. And I think that's really neat to see that, especially when you look for it, because it's when you realize that it's intentional, it makes the whole movie come together even stronger. So day 14, man. I mean, I'm still in love with this movie. I still find new things to key in on every time. I hope you all are learning. And tomorrow, on the 15th, we have our group watch. We're going to actually screen it on a projector in an auditorium. So no word yet on attendance. There could be just 2 of us. There could be 10. But either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll get everybody's opinions that actually show up if they want to give them on the movie. And should be a fun Friday. And I think tomorrow's focus is going to be food. I'm going to pay attention to food and drink in Halloween 3. And off the top of my head, there's not a whole lot of eating. So it's going to be interesting, like actually paying attention and looking for it. Is there going to be some sort of revelation there as I fight this random fruit fly that keeps flying around my head? But that's day 14. Thanks for tuning in for the double post today. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Shelby, out. Okay. Welcome. This is day 15 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 Challenge. I'm Shelby, SPF Entertainment, and we have a conversion tonight. There's been a baptism. This is Jamie. You may know him from Sauced. But Jamie was a Halloween 3 virgin. And he has not watched Halloween 2 yet, so he was a little confused as to why we got to where we are. But what were your thoughts, Jamie?
I like the idea of as you were describing, Halloween not just being about Michael Myers being resurrected and it going on just being a remake of the first movie. I like the idea of it being an anthology and really encapsulating Halloween as a season. Not knowing that going into this, though, I was very confused. I thought that overall it was a good movie for the time, though, and I'm kind of sad to hear that it wasn't as well received as probably it should have been.
That's why we're doing this. This is my gospel. I convert at least one person a year to this movie. Teach them what they've missed. So tonight's assignment, we actually had Naveed here too, but I think we scared him off. He showed up 2 individual times during the movie and watched probably about 20 minutes of it and then decided that was it. So we'll work on him next year. But my assignment tonight was to see if there was any food in the movie and what did people eat. And I think the only thing that was on the menu was Ellie. And because Chalice didn't eat no food. I didn't see any food anywhere in the movie. All he did was drink liquor.
There was a bowl of candy at the very end.
I guess, the Halloween candy.
The Halloween candy.
But,
and if you're not counting beer as food, then yes.
Or hard liquor. So, not a lot of food, which is weird because I feel like even in horror movies, there's usually food. Like I really remember distinctly in the Halloween franchise, there are plenty of pizzas involved in certain scenes. Like they show up, like teenagers getting pizza delivered and shit. That's like definitely a thing. But it has the premarital sex. It has the extramarital sex. Dan Chalice is like at least once divorced. There's no way he doesn't have like 3 or 4 more ex-wives, like 10 girlfriends. So, you know what was on the menu tonight? Infidelity. That's what was on the menu, and that's why all those kids had to die. So, this is our special group viewing and an empty theater. But you know what? Doesn't stop me. Day 15's in the books. You're not going to stop me. 16 more days. Thanks for watching. So, welcome to day 16 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. This is Shelby. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to SPF Entertainment, please do. Today, I'm bringing you a midday update because I have yet another wedding to attend this evening, and I'm trying to get ahead of the curve. So, the focus on this viewing, my 16th viewing in a row of the film, was the alcohol. Yesterday I did food, which there was basically zero food in the movie. But today I was paying attention to the alcohol. And if you are familiar with this movie, you know that Dan Chalice is like a raging, but mostly functional alcoholic. And so he's almost always got a drink in his hand or in his possession. So I was trying to tally up the different brands of booze or types of booze that he had throughout the movie, and there's some explicit scenes where he's actually holding beverages. He takes a few shots in a bar after work. It's implied when he comes home to Linda that he's been drinking. He has a flask in his jacket, which we assume is some kind of whiskey or schnapps or like vodka, something people carry around in a whiskey. So it's got to be some kind of, or a flask. It's got to be some kind of hard liquor. So you've got hard liquor, you've got Miller High Life 6-pack cans, you have shots at a bar. It was some kind of brown, assuming it's a whiskey of some sort he was taking shots of. Then you have, when he gets to Santa Mira, he goes to the grocery store and he buys a bottle, which he shares with the homeless guy, and it's a green glass bottle, which I'm not sure what that could have been. And then he pours a drink when he gets to the hotel room from that bag, but you don't see the bottle again, but it looks like it's another like whiskey something. And then after that, it's, you know, all downhill from there. There's also a Budweiser advertisement pretty prominently in a couple of windows, even though he doesn't drink Budweiser. So I thought that was interesting. You have a few brands competing in there. But largely after that drinking, there isn't much time to drink again. And I'm sure Chalice would have loved to have had a drink after dealing with the events towards the second and third acts of the movie, but I thought that was interesting. He mixes it up but mainly likes the hard stuff. And that was my observation. So if I can figure out if he has a brand of whiskey, that would be a revelation. But I don't think you get any bottle shots. I mean, the glass bottle that he's carrying as a prop is it's unlabeled. And I guess the other instance of alcohol is the homeless guy is carrying his own bottle after he takes a pull off of Dan's, but it's like an unmarked brown bottle, I think. And it looks like it's probably a clear liquor, so maybe it's kind of vodka or gin or something. But yeah, so that's my observation. That's day 16. Got 15 days left, still going strong. Let me know if you have any thoughts. But I will say I do like Miller High Life. That's a nice beer. It is the champagne of beers, after all. I'm glad they're not discontinuing that, even though they are discontinuing like Miller High Life Light, which is weird. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know why you would have that over just Miller Lite, because I'm pretty sure they're almost the same taste. I think I've had it before, and I was like, I couldn't really tell the difference. But yeah, so I like Dan's beer of choice there. His beer du jour in Miller High Life. It's classy. And how can you not like the little bottles with the aluminum, the golden aluminum foil on top there? But all right, day 16, Shelby out. I'll see you tomorrow. We've come so far together. This is Shelby and SPF Entertainment coming to you with the 17th day of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks if you have. Day 17, a 17th viewing of the cinematic masterpiece that is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Call it Stockholm Syndrome, but I'm starting to think Cochran may not have been all that bad, you know. The kids have had it too good for too long. And, you know, trick or treat is all about getting something nice or the children threaten to destroy your life. And that sounds like a hostage situation to me. So, you know, sometimes the people that like to do the tricking get tricked themselves. And that's all this blood festival is. You know, it's just a resetting of the celestial score, if you will. So I can understand why Cochran doesn't like the kids. He's made his entire modern career off of making gags and novelty gifts, and I think he probably sees the purchasing power that children have that force their parents and adults to spend the amount of money they do on stuff that ultimately doesn't really matter all that much, like toys and Halloween masks and gewgaws and gags. So it makes sense. What better way to get back at the consumer than to intentionally make a product that could harm or kill them? I wonder if anybody's ever done that before. Oh wait, yeah, totally. Tobacco industry, yeah. Drugs, sugar, high fructose corn syrup. I mean, come on, we're hopelessly addicted. Of course, this strategy works. Unilever and Coca-Cola and Frito-Lay, they're just playing the long con on us. Cochran was just speeding up the timeline. So perhaps this movie is... You know what? Actually, maybe it is. Honestly, that's probably a vein in it. It's got an anti-consumerism vein in it. Way before we have the Rowdy Roddy Piper and They Live, another John Carpenter classic, which will come a few years after this movie, but that is a staunchly like anti-consumerism, subvertive capitalist message in there. So yeah, I can definitely see that. Now that I've watched this movie 17 times, there is definitely like a warning to excess and like consumerism and like just blindly buying things that are sold to you, just believing that, you know, they're benign, they can't possibly come back to hurt you. So yeah, That's a new one. That's a new one. I've never really thought about that angle, but we've discovered that together tonight. So yeah, let me know what you think. I think that this just opens up more opportunities because now this means that we can certainly do a double feature where we watch Halloween 3 and They Live and compare notes in the Carpenter universe. So that's very exciting. That's very, very exciting. I wonder if you can make the argument that They Live happens in the same universe as Halloween 3, just after the initial, effects and fallout of kids dying that many years ago, and people have just totally forgotten about it because they've been invaded in their minds. So I'm not to spoil anything, but yeah. So anti-consumerism messaging in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Check. This movie has it all. You cannot convince me otherwise. And this is only the 17th time I've watched it in a row. I've still got 14 more times to check it out this month. So I'm sure I'll come up with some more. So again, this is day 17. I'm on the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'm Shelby. I might be losing my mind, but you all are here to witness my journey into insanity. And I've only got 2 more episodes that I'll be able to film here in the comfort of my home studio, and then I'll be on the road for 5 days out in the middle of the boonies. Should be able to upload these videos in a timely fashion. If not, there'll be a big block of them when I get back, but I will be filming them, and if I can get them edited, I will be editing them. But we'll just roll with it. You're going to get what you get. But I will be doing my daily watch and my daily log. I've got it loaded up on my iPad. I need to put it on my phone as well as a backup. And we'll just keep watching from out there in Nebraska, South Dakota, on the plane, whatever I end up doing it from. And, yeah, we'll go from there. So, thanks for tuning in. Okay. This is Shelby. Day 18 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to us on SPF Entertainment here. If you already have, thanks. Day 18 thoughts. I've got another movie screening that I'm watching tonight. So obviously I did what any gainfully employed person would do. I immediately left work early so I could get home and watch my daily Halloween 3 since I've got competition tonight for my time. And I don't really have a theme today. It was kind of just a straight watch through. Maybe one of the things that I've always wondered with the movie, in the props department, they obviously were making the masks. There are a lot of replica masks available. I wonder what the total number of masks made for this movie, like to be on the set, on the factory floor, and throughout the different scenes in the movie. How many masks were there, and how many masks got destroyed in the climactic sequence where there's masks to be burned. So that'd be interesting because I feel like there had to have been several hundred to maybe a low thousand number made for just on the set, not counting replicas. I know some people bought the molds because they actually have molds. They show them in the movie, obviously. And then there's the other fact of the matter that down in the Hall of Fame room, where the showcase area, museum part of the factory, where all the other Cochrane, toys and music boxes and weird stuff are, you can see there's a whole line of masks, and they are markedly different looking than the witch, pumpkin, and skeleton that are on sale in the movie. And it makes you wonder how many other designs were there of Silver Shamrock movie, Halloween masks over the years. Like one of them looks like it has like a red face, like a demon. You can't really see the other ones very well. I need to start stopping on that scene to see what else can be identified. I'm sure somebody's already broken that down because I'm not the only one obsessed with this movie. But it's interesting because there's at least 10 other masks that appear to be completely different masks than the ones that are featured prominently in the film. So it'd be cool to see what those are. Because you would think that if a company was making like Halloween masks, they wouldn't limit themselves to just 3 ever made. They had to like have a rotating selection over the years or whatever. So obviously Cochrane's market research had determined that these 3 designs would be the most acceptable by kids and the best way to weaponize and put his plan into motion for that Halloween in 1982. But yeah, so that's kind of like my thought is, what were the other masks? There were a lot of them. What was the total mask count? And like it goes back to the color scheme aspect of the movie, and that your brightest colors appear in like the weapons and the bad stuff of the movie has bright colors. Everything else is a pretty muted tone. So I think that kind of plays into that too. It's like it's those eye-catching colors. It's that draw. What was it about the masks? Why did they appeal to so many people? Why do I want to wear one so badly? These are all questions I don't have answers for. But you'll have the same questions once you've been submitted for final processing, I assure you. And if you survive this entire challenge with me, you're a prime candidate for it. So that's day 18. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, this is Shelby. Welcome to day 19 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Day 19. So, we're at a pivotal point in my own personal journey through this movie, and that is tonight is the last time that I'll be able to watch this movie or have watched this movie in the comfort of my own home for 5 days. I will be on the road on a trip, a hunting trip, and I'll be watching Halloween 3 from an iPad primarily, unless I can figure out a way to hook it up to the TV, but I don't think it's going to work. So, enjoying my last full screen viewing for a while, and also coming with that, the logistical challenge of editing and uploading these videos from a primarily mobile format. I don't think I'm going to take my laptop. I may decide to change my mind at the last minute, but I really hate taking laptops through airport security because, like, it's just another thing to unpack, and I carry way too many electronics anyway. So I'm going to attempt to roll with my iPad that's also holding the movie and make it do double duty. Yeah, I said duty. But we'll see. I haven't decided, but it may not. The next 4 or 5 videos may not look quite the same as these have with the nice polished borders and the frame and all that good stuff. But we'll see. I'll try my best. Moving on to the content of today, I was just kind of like wondering if Dan Chalice is just a tightwad, cheap ass, or if he's legitimately in financial distress because of his alcoholism. And there's a couple of points that I make on this, or a couple observations you can make on this. he seems to cheap out when it comes to buying the masks for his kids. He clearly brings home some crappy, like this one string in the back, like those plastic masks that you can't breathe out of. And then that's when Linda informs him that she's already gotten the kids' masks, and they have, of course, the far superior silver SHAMROCK masks. So that's like case one, like right off the bat, like right after the whole incident at the hospital. He comes home this is before the incident at the hospital. He comes home and brings these crappy masks home. He's drinking out of a flask. Now, like, Linda's house is pretty sweet, and I'm assuming that that's her place and that Dan doesn't live there. You never really get any idea of where Dan lives because he ends up being at the hospital the entire time and then heading on to Santa Mira with Ellie. So it's curious. I wonder what Dan's bachelor pad, like what condition that's in. When he gets to the hotel, before that, he calls from a payphone, and he has just 1 6-pack of Miller High Life. Again, not very expensive. Is that what he could afford, or is that what he wanted? We don't know. It seems like he definitely prefers hard liquor based on the scenes in the bar and the fact that he's got a flask in his jacket. So it's another interesting anecdote there. It's like he also drives part of the way, I'm assuming. So just, he's an irresponsible dude, but the alcohol choice is interesting. And that's kind of going back to our alcohol discussion session as well. But then when he gets to Santa Mira, he has no problem dropping down the $40 for, I'm assuming they're paying for 2 hotel nights, which is a very, that was a good amount of money back in the day when they were filming this, early 80s, $40. But he doesn't seem to have any problem dropping that cash, but of course he's also on the prowl for Ellie, so obviously when you got a woman on your brain, you don't think straight either, just to be quite honest. So that's interesting. He doesn't have any problem dropping that down. But then when he goes to the, they don't show the liquor store or market or wherever the hell he buys this stuff at. It shows him leaving it. But obviously they don't have labels on the bottles because they didn't want to pay for, product placement or have to cover them up and make them look crappy. But the liquor that he buys, and then he lets the homeless guy take a pull off of, it's just like a opaque brown bottle. There's no label. So I would just assume, based on the generic appearance of it, that he just bought some bottom shelf like liquor just to get the job done, which again points to, is he buying it just to sustain his habit, or is he actually picking what he wants because he can afford it? I'm starting to think he was just drinking whatever he could get his hands on at the price he could afford. So that's just interesting thought that I kind of had. We'd observed in a previous viewing like the types of liquor he was drinking, but I didn't really pay attention to like the price points or the name brands. And I just wonder if he has so grossly mismanaged his money as a doctor through his divorce and whatever alimony he has to pay Linda and child support for kids. And he's obviously playing a very poor role as a father for his children in at least this snapshot that we get of his life. And yeah, I mean, like he's drinking on the job. He's sleeping at work because he doesn't get to go home. What's his situation, man? And I think I pointed this out in a very early day. Was like, man, he really was like at a low point in his life. Like this little arc that Dan Chalice gets to try to do something to try to stop Silver Shamrock is like the most positive thing that's happened to him in what seems to be a very long time. We're just dropped into the end of his sad story, and yeah, it's kind of a bummer, really, honestly. So he is. I think I stated before that he's a tragic figure, and that kind of reinforces that, in my opinion. But hey, that's just my day 19 thoughts. Day 20 through 20. I might be able to record 25 when I get back. I'll have to see what time looks like. But the next 5 days are going to be posted on the road, so they may look a little bit different, but they're going to be on this page, God willing. If I have the bandwidth to upload them, I will be editing them, filming and editing them anyway on each day. If I end up having to release all 5 of them the day I get back, so be it. But There will be content. I will stay faithful. We are almost through this, but I'm going to be sad to see it go. But I may be running out of things to talk about by day 31. Even though there's like an infinite wealth of things, I might really start delving into some conspiracy theories. So get ready for things to get weirder than they already have. So thanks for joining me. Day 19. Let's see what comes. We only have 12 more days till Halloween. So stay tuned. Stay safe. Stay spooky. Alright, listen. I'm not crazy. Okay, I'm crazy. I have watched 20 days of Halloween 3. This is Shelby. It is very late. I am in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, and I'm in a poorly lit hunting lodge. TV's probably blaring in the background, and this is the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge, day 20. I'm going to keep it short. My major observation today was that people on the airplane were watching me watch, and I think they were genuinely confused, and I really enjoyed the amount of confusion they probably suffered by glancing over and seeing what the hell's going on my screen. I can't even imagine like the things that are going through people's minds, and like I tried to see if I could get anybody to start a conversation about the movie, and nobody would. So it's their loss. It's their loss. But day 20, an adventure. We'll see what we can do. We got 4 or 5 more days out here in the wilderness, and I'll keep recording these, but you may not see them until next week. So Shelby, day 20, staying strong. See ya. All right, so this is October 21st. I'm Shelby. This is the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'm out here in Keapaha County, Nebraska, on a lovely little riverfront here, and I've been target shooting my grandfather's Colt Woodsman 22 caliber pistol. It's a really fun little semi-automatic pistol to shoot. And I'm here to talk about Halloween 3 and day 21 thoughts. Day 21 thoughts. Well, I mean, I've seen this movie a lot. I've seen this movie a lot now. And now I'm watching it on my vacation. And I'm in the boonies. And I'm having trouble even getting these videos uploaded. But it's still such a damn fine movie. I just can't get over how infinitely rewatchable this stupid movie is. It is just a cinematic dream. It has everything. The plot is very well paced. The characters are likable. The villain is villainous and charismatic. I mean, the mechanism that moves the plot along is amazing. It's just a solid movie. And I know I've said that 21 times, and I'm going to say it 10 more times to end out the month, and I'll say it 1,000,000 more times for the rest of my life. And these videos will serve as a testament that I still love this damn movie. Yeah, I mean, I think my vacation watches just aren't going to have the nitty-gritty analysis. I haven't really been struck by anything the last couple of viewings, and I mean, if something strikes me, I'll dig into it, but it's just appreciating that I can watch this. This doesn't even feel like a job or a chore when I'm on my vacation, other than trying to get enough damn signal to get these videos out. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And as a bonus, I'll give you some shooting video. So I don't know how well this is gonna work here. Maybe I can, actually, I'll tell you what, I'll put you in my pocket. I'll put you in my pocket and we'll go target shooting. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. All right, this is really gonna screw up the aim, I'm sure. So you're gonna be down barrel from me, and we're gonna fire 10 rounds into that telephone pole over there. Very poorly, sure. Well, we got a shell that didn't expel fully. That happens. It's a 60-year-old gun. It's a great gun though, really great weight. You can shoot resets really nice in your hand. And clear again. And I think we got 3 more shots in here. No, that was the last one. No, it did it again. It's being a little finicky on us. There we go. Last one. So that's what I say to the haters of Halloween 3. It's a great movie. Fuck off if you don't like it. This is Shelby. This is day 21. I don't know when you're going to see this. Hopefully soon. But love you. Mean it. See you tomorrow. Hello. It's Shelby. This is October 22nd. The 22nd day of the 31 days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'm coming to you from day 3 in exile out here in the wastes of northern Nebraska from a dimly lit hunting lodge late at night after yet another viewing of this miraculous movie after everybody else has gone to sleep. And so I guess what I did this view through is I've been drinking and deciding what beverage pairs the best with the movie. And right now the selection at the lodge is a little bit skewed. Rehydrating now. But mainly we have Maker's Mark bourbon, and we did have a small amount of Bud Light, and so I basically just decided I was going to drink just Maker's neat on the rocks. Nothing else mixed in it, just bourbon and ice, and it works pretty well. I've probably had about 4 through the course of the movie. Probably could have done with 3, but I got a little excited when the whole Cochrane thing picks up, and I downed one pretty quickly. Just my heart deflutters whenever the grand scheme is unveiled, and but yeah, it seems like bourbon pairs pretty well. I think we're going to do a restock tomorrow if we go back to town. Hopefully I can get this video uploaded. I was able to get a couple of the previous days uploaded finally. But yeah, so nothing real organized. I'm watching it and recording my thoughts. And today I was like, oh, I had a lot of bourbon during the movie, and I haven't lost my faculties other than I'm watching this movie 31 days in a row, so that may affect my mental capacity for decades to come, but I'm holding up. Pretty tired, pretty exhausted. It's pretty long days when you're walking around for 8 or 9 miles in tall grass and stuff, carrying shotguns and getting in and out and all that, and then on top of all that nonsense, coming back here and doing this kind of crap on your vacation. But I'm doing it for you, my dear viewers, and you must know that Halloween 3 is the greatest gift that was ever given to us, and this is my gospel. And this is day 22 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'll see you again tomorrow. Happy Samhain. Hello, this is Shelby. This is day 23 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'm coming to you yet again, another day from my remote hunting lodge location here in northern Nebraska. And today's revelation, shall you say, shower thought, literally, is I was kind of thinking, was the mask the most effective delivery mechanism for Cochrane and Silver Shamrock? Because, like, the whole TV activation, I feel like that entire scheme would have worked better if he, say, bought a Super Bowl ad, because a lot more people were watching TV during the Super Bowl than necessarily during Halloween. Maybe the better mechanism for delivery for Halloween would be literally to do something to candy, even though that is like the age-old urban legend fear parents instill. You know, people are sticking razor blades and dope into kids' candy and all this shit that like almost never happened. Maybe that would have been too easy. That's why they decided to do the mask route. Because yeah, like I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things. Like maybe they chose to go this route that was a little more convoluted because of it needing to be a little bit more Hollywood magic and less something realistic. I really feel like the TV-based activation mechanism would have been better suited for like a Super Bowl heist. But again, where does that tie into Season of the Witch? Well, I mean, you could make the argument if Season of the Witch is anti-consumerism message, then making a statement during the Super Bowl would be a very, very powerful one. So, you know, something to consider, something I was thinking about. Could be completely off base here, but, you know, I am pretty tired, and this has been a very interesting way of doing these updates from this leather chair here in this hunting lodge. I mean, like, there's like, you know, it's bizarre, and I'm having to do these updates. I'm not getting to watch the movie until late in the day, and we've been walking for miles and out in the sun, and it's windy, it's cold. It's a lot. So I'm doing this for you all. I'm doing this because I love this movie. And what do you think? Do you think that Silver Shamrock had the right strategy with deploying masks activated by a TV commercial during Halloween, or should they have used something else? Should they have saved the TV commercial for the Super Bowl? This is deep shit to think about. So while you think about that, remind you, this is Shelby, SPF Entertainment. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. This is day 23 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. We are getting dangerously close to the end here. And thank you for all that have been here every step of the way. I have 2 more days of remote reports, and I'll be back in my home office for the remainder of the challenge, I do believe. So looking forward to that. Been a great trip, but I hate working on the road. And all right, we'll see what I can come up with tomorrow. Deuces. What is up, all you cool cats and kittens? It is October 24th. This is my last full day in the wilderness, the beautiful wilderness of Keapaha County, Nebraska. And I'm out target shooting again with the 22s. And thoughts on Halloween 3. This is the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. This is day 24. I've watched this movie 24 times in a row, every day in October so far. I'll probably be watching again tomorrow on the plane ride. But I was kind of thinking today, what stands out? What stands out? Well, I'm out here in nature. I'm out here, you know, like a sportsman, hunting. And I was kind of thinking, like, there's no guns. There's no guns in Halloween 3 at all, which is strange. So interesting to think about that. Just riddle that, go through it. That's gonna be a short one today. I'm just thinking, there's no guns. It's all hand-to-hand combat and ripping people's heads off. So very interesting. Very interesting. Is there a message in that? Maybe. But there's nothing wrong with using firearms responsibly and not pointing them at people. You can use them to target shoot. Take animals legally if you're going to use them. So, yeah. That's your thoughts. Day 24. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Well, hello again. It's me, Shelby, on your day 25 report of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I had quite an adventure getting to the airport and getting home from my trip out in the boonies on the actual day of the 25th. So I'm recording this today in the morning of the 26th. and posting it, and then I will follow it up with my October the 26th viewing once I complete that today. So, if you all have been paying attention the last week, I was out of town. I was in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, and I recorded my videos every day, but had quite a bit of trouble getting them uploaded. But I did get them edited on the laptop, and so at least they all looked like they were supposed to, even though I had to film on my phone. But so I covered a variety of topics, trying to tap into my journey into the wilderness, and my thoughts on returning, the return trip, and Halloween 3, and how they kind of mesh together. It really highlights how much of a mad dash the movie was, and in relation to, I was out in the middle of nowhere. I was four hours away from the airport, and so we had to get our rental car, had to drive back, do all this, get back in time, get on the plane, transfer flights got delayed, all that fun stuff, and it really does line up with the events of the movie, where it begins, and there's a specific timeline from when the plot is discovered, and then Chalice hits Santa Mira, and then he meets Cochran, and then he figures out Cochran's behind all this, the masks are bad, and it's just that timeline from October the 23rd up to October the 31st is there. And the whole movie is essentially just a running clock to the big giveaway on Halloween. And it's kind of funny. It's almost, it feels like when you're traveling, you've got that same kind of a hard deadline that you've got to get here for your ultimate destination to be reachable. And there's so many things along the way that have to go right for you to get there. And ultimately, do you even get to enjoy the destination, right? So, did the plot succeed? Did Cochran win, or did Chalice succeed in stopping millions of deaths on that evening? And I do recommend, there's like a graphic novelization of the book, or it's a novelization of the story, and it actually continues. It gives you a little bit more after what the actual movie shot, but I do choose to live in the movie world, where the movie ends while Chalice is saying, turn off the TV signal on the third channel. It leaves it more ambiguous, which I always appreciated about this one, where it's like, man, there's never really a happy ending in these anthology style stories, truly. And that's always, like, I love that Twilight Zone aspect of Halloween 3, in that everything went wrong and then almost got fixed, and then ultimately, who knows if it worked. So why try, right? But that's my thoughts. That's my October the 25th update, being re-recorded on October the 26th. So I was thinking about it, but it's a little hard to record when you're running between connecting flights and then you arrive back to your destination here at midnight. So technically the entire day got away from me. Did not have a chance to really sit down and record. But I was able to watch. I watched it partially in the car ride, and I watched the other half on the plane, and then I started watching Dune. I'm really excited to go see that in theaters, because I've really enjoyed what I saw on just the iPad screen. Definitely is going to need a big screen viewing. But it's great that HBO is offering that, so I could at least get a taste of it, because I'm going to be rewatching that movie like 4 or 5 times, I'm sure, this next few weeks, once I get my Halloween 3 assignment completed. So, got, what is this, the 25th, got 6 more days. 6 more days till Halloween. So, I'm getting excited. We're almost there. Alright. I'll see you next time. It's you again. And it's time. It's finally time. Day 26 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. And I'm finally back on track. I'm back in civilization. I've got a stable internet connection. And we're almost through this journey. There's 5 days left. till Halloween. And what a journey it has been. I am a man teetering on the edge of sanity. I don't know what Cochran's endgame is. But now I'm terrified. I can't trust anything. Is big tech just our silver shamrock? This may be the last words that I can post online before they get me. I don't know. I'm just so paranoid now. I've been putting aluminum foil all over my walls, and I've been ripping wires out of stuff, and I don't know. I feel like they're listening right now. I feel like you're listening right now. Maybe you're even watching me. I don't know where they're recording this. I don't know where I am. But Cochran was an evil son of a bitch, and his conspiracy has sown distrust in the U.S. commercial sector. We don't know where our supply chains are. We don't know where anything's coming from. I don't know what anybody wants from me. What does it all mean? Dear God. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. They knew I was going to discover this. Listen, you have to spread the word. You have to continue to watch Halloween 3. Do not let my sacrifice go to waste. Well, I'm going to try to hunker down. Day 17 is coming sooner than you know it. I'll have more to report then. Until then, this is Shelby, SBF Entertainment, 31 Days of Halloween 3 Challenge, Day 27. No, Day 26. They're already infiltrating my mind. I don't know what day it is. Don't know what week it is. The only calendar I have is maintaining this log every day. I'm very scared. And you should be too. Stay safe. Hello. It is October the 27th. This is the 27th day in the 31 Days of Halloween 3 Challenge. I'm Shelby. I've been told that my unhinged rants have been feeding the YouTube algorithm. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing unhinged about my passion for this movie and the universe it sets forth. Now, I will say that Cochran's convoluted plan could have been more optimized. There's no arguing that. He was very much a man of his time. Old warlocks, they can't be bothered to really understand the nuances of modern technology. Now, what would be a better mechanism today to deliver the silver shamrock surprise and prepare a bountiful harvest for someone? I'd have to say it's social media. Yeah. I'd have to say it's what you're consuming right now. You've fallen right into my trap. This entire thing was a setup so that I could get more of you to join me, to be a willing participant in the season of the witch. Now you'll say, Shelby, you're crazy. Witches don't exist. Blah, 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 blah. No, bullshit. It's all real. Halloween 3 was actually a documentary. The events happened in real time. John Carpenter was trying to spare our feelings and protect us from what was really happening out there. These big Hollywood studios want you to harvest your children's souls in order to sustain a blood feast for the ancient ones. Stay woke. Now, regretfully, there's only 4 days left in this challenge, and I don't know what I'm going to do with my life when this is over, honestly. This has really just become a part of my identity. It's honestly upsetting. This is the closest thing to a diary that I've ever kept for this long, and when it's over, I just don't know if I'll have anything left to live for. Maybe I should continue the challenge. Would that be so crazy? I have to go. Somebody's coming. So, here we are, day 28 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'm Shelby. This is SBF Entertainment. And today's topic, building on yesterday's theme of I think I could have done better than Cochran, I was kind of thinking about today, how did, so the entire source of power for the microchips that were embedded on the silver shamrock masks, it all comes from Stonehenge, a stone from Stonehenge that was stolen. And so there's just a throwaway line from Cochran in the movie that explains how the stone from Stonehenge got to Santa Mira, California from England. And all he says is, we had quite a time getting it here. So there's like no explanation. The only other exposition we have is in the very beginning of the movie, the very opening, at the gas station, the attendant's watching a show where they're talking about the missing stone at Stonehenge. So it's kind of cool where it has this cold open that brings it up, and we don't find out that Cochran's actually behind that whole thing towards the end of the movie. But how in the hell did a giant stone from Stonehenge make it that far, right? I don't know. You gotta assume that Santa Mira to England, I'm doing a calculation right now. That is gonna be, Santa Mira does not exist, but let's just assume that Santa Mira exists. We'll just say Los Angeles. We'll just say Los Angeles is like just a basic California destination, right? And it's gotta be just back of the hand. It's roughly 5,500 miles, 8,800 kilometers. So, in the most efficient way to transport it would probably have to be by boat and then trucks, right? There's no way that was flown, but he says we had quite a time getting it here. Is Cochran implying that they used magic to move the stone? Or did they use their conventional shipping channels? Because Silver Shamrock is a multinational corporation. Maybe they snuck it on a shipment after stealing it, and the hardest part was just stealing it and getting it to port. That's something that's always been interesting. Obviously, they're not going to use much exposition in a movie like this. It's kind of just a throwaway thing to move the plot along, more of like a MacGuffin, if anything. But yeah, I'm curious to know if there was any further thought or development in that origin of how did the stone get there. I wonder if there was anything else in the script and they just didn't add it to the movie, or if it was just an active choice to make it intentionally vague, just to add another wrinkle to the mystery that is Silver Shamrock and Cochran. But I feel like even though Cochran is very powerful, they probably didn't move it with magic. I feel like they probably did steal it, and we had quite a time getting it here would really lead up to that, add evidence to that theory that it just took a lot of man hours and android hours, and I'm sure paying off customs officials, making sure the right palms were greased. Who knows how many people got killed to maintain silence and secrecy in this process. I'm sure like this whole caper would make a movie in itself. This has Ocean's 13, Ocean's 11 have nothing on stealing Stonehenge pieces to build masks to destroy the entire world. So that's my October the 28th, day 28 thoughts on Halloween 3. We only have 3 more days until Halloween. I'm so excited. I'm sad to see it end, but I am happy to be reaching a finishing point because this has been a lot of work. It's a lot of work watching and recording thoughts and getting the videos edited. And I mean, like I said, I had to do it all during my vacation. And even though the videos didn't get uploaded on the same day they happened, I still had to record them and I still had to cut them together. I took my laptop and did all that work. So yeah, it'll be nice to just kind of go back into a normal routine. But I hope everybody's enjoyed some consistent content, and we're working on getting a better production calendar and timeline set up. This was kind of an experimental format for October to see how we could do something on a daily basis. And although not the highest production value, I'm just recording this on my webcam or on my phone when I have to. It's something. So let's see. 3 more days. We'll see what happens. We'll see what else I can come up with. See you tomorrow. All right. Day 29. Day 29 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. You know, I've really cut this movie in a lot of different ways, different styles, different perspectives, and truly getting to the bottom of the barrel here. You know, I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. I mean, it's still a damn fine movie, infinitely rewatchable. I think there are some deeper themes that I've brought up, like the anti-consumerist vein, the witchcraft, the over-reliance on technology, the fact that it should have been an anthology, but was changed because of, production overreach. I mean, Halloween 3 really is a love letter to what could have been. Very much ahead of its time, very much relevant as we sit through yet another reinvention, reboot of the original Halloween Michael Myers arc. People are just so ready to pretend that Halloween 3 didn't exist, and I think that does the franchise a disservice. And I think there could have been so much more storytelling that could have occurred had Halloween remained an anthology series, and maybe you could have some of these stories overlapped in similar universes. I would love to see another story that occurs in a post Silver Shamrock universe, even if it doesn't explicitly involve Silver Shamrock, but for it to become, like the Snake Plissken joke, like the Cleveland incident. It'd be great to have a throwaway line in a future Halloween that was like, oh man, you remember what happened with those weird masks all those years ago? It is. And I think that the technology being not that far from witchcraft aspect also is pretty underrated. And when the movie comes out in the early 80s, we're still not really in a home computing era. Computers weren't as common as they are now in a home setting. They were starting to get there, but I think now, where we are just surrounded, inundated with technology, I think that angle really has more gravity. Just the over-reliance of technology, the permeation of stuff like social media, and how it has absolutely ripped apart some of the social threads in our society because of people's inability to use what should be powerful tools to connect and collaborate, and they've found ways to turn them into tools of destruction and sowing discord. So I think that's still a very relevant thread, and I think that for all the crazy jokes you can make, that's a pretty powerful message in that movie, and a lot of people still aren't listening to those warning signs. And maybe it's not. You don't have a guy who's outwardly as evil as Colonel Cochran running, Silver Shamrock. But I mean, you can't tell me that guys like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and these idiots, these billionaires that think that they know what's best for you, are really looking out for you. They're not. They're looking out for their own bottom line, and they've made all their money being charlatans and tricking people. And it's just one of those things. You gotta the wolf will always be in sheep's clothing, right? You're not going to see the enemy for the actual enemy. And so that's what's always cool. It's like Cochran comes off as this charismatic, cool dude, but his intentions are very much evil. And once his plan is unveiled, there's no stopping him without force. So maybe that's the takeaway: is you gotta stay woke, or else your new side chick will be turned into a robot, and you'll be in for a lot of headaches on Halloween Eve. So that's my day 29 thoughts here, the 31 days of Halloween 3 challenge. I'm Shelby from SBF Entertainment, and I'll see you tomorrow. We've only got 2 more days together. Well. It is October the 30th. Party on. Excellent. Without the Wayne's World logo on the cap here. I'm Shelby, fresh off of hosting a Halloween party, and I'm here to deliver my day 30 thoughts about Halloween 3 in the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. Obviously, I've been wearing a wig for a few hours, and really holds in a lot of heat, and it's not very comfortable, but Halloween 3, I didn't really get to sneak it in on the party because I ended up looping Friday the 13th parts, so I got parts 1 through 5 to play through by the time the party waned. But I did have a couple of Halloween related discussions, and there were a few people that actually knew what Halloween 3 was and didn't agree with it, and I tried to educate them. But I also encountered several more who did not know that Halloween 3 did not have Michael Myers in it, and they were actually morbidly curious. So may have some future targets for a conversion in the upcoming years to continue my strong tradition of converting at least one new viewer to the truth every year. It's become a bit of a gospel of mine. And I mean, here we are. I'm in costume. This is the second to last day. I think by the time this will get uploaded, it'll be the 31st, but I will have one final upload tomorrow. And wow, it's been a journey. You all have made it with me. And I'm exhausted from hosting a party and being in costume and watching this movie 31 times has been a chore. And it's not so much a chore in that you have to watch the same movie 31 times in a row. It's more of a chore of finding the time to watch a movie 31 times in a row each day. Because I'm the kind of person who doesn't even know their schedule 2 days in advance, much less a month in advance. And carving time out to do something like this has required a lot of very creative planning and, use of modern technology that wouldn't have existed, 15, 20 years ago. This would have been a lot harder to pull off. I mean, without me being able to sit in front of a TV and actually load it in the DVD player. If I didn't have the iPad version or the ability to throw this on my phone, I don't see how I would have gotten this challenge done. because there's just no way I could have sat. I did not watch this on my TV every night. I just didn't have time to. I was either not here, or I just didn't have the setup to do it, or somebody else was using those devices. This is very much the only way this is possible is through technology, and the entire theme of Halloween 3 is to warn us of the dangers of over-reliance on technology. So I'm not really sure where that leads us. So I guess that's just the classic double-edged sword, right? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. The 31 days of Halloween 3 couldn't have happened without technology, but the whole premise of the movie is to warn us about the over-reliance on said technology. So, wow. It's kind of depressing when you think about it. This entire challenge was built on a lie. Well, we've got one more day left. We're going to make the most of it, alright? So, I'll see you tomorrow. Party on, Garth. It's time. It's finally time. Samhain has begun. It's Halloween. And this is day 31 of the 31 Days of Halloween 3 challenge. I can't believe we're already here. I have so much work to do. So many preparations to make. I'd like to thank you all for joining me on this journey, and I'm so sorry that most of you all will not be able to continue where I'm going. I have a higher calling now. I must bring the joy and the light of Halloween 3 to others. Please, if you've learned anything this past month, you must know that this is one of the greatest cinematic masterpieces to exist, and it must be shared. This gospel is now your gospel. You must carry the light into lands, into people that are not ready to receive it, but must. A crusade to cleanse the world of inferior anthology stories. Amen. Well, it has been a journey. And watching this movie 31 times in a month did not break me. It did not break me. It was actually quite fun. Like I said, the hardest part of this challenge wasn't having to watch the same movie 31 times. It was finding time to watch a movie 31 times. I mean, if it was watch the movie 31 times, period, in the month, there's days where I had free time. I could have watched this 2 or 3 times, but that's not how the challenge worked. It was once a day, every day. So that was the biggest problem. This movie is very enjoyable, very easy to digest. It's a simple premise. It's well executed. It's entertaining enough, non-offensive, and it's just it's been a very cool movie. I hope if you had not known what this movie was, that this has encouraged you to watch it. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. Hopefully you understand the context of what Halloween 3 is in the entirety of the Halloween timeline and its place in horror history. And really helped kick off the a revitalization of the anthology format as we know it in horror, which I do wager that without a Halloween 3, you're not likely to get Creepshow and Creepshow 2. You're not likely to get some of these other Stephen King stories like Cat's Eye doesn't get made into an actual adaptation. You don't get stuff, even more modern entries. You don't get your Tales from the Dark Side. You don't get your Tales from the Crypt. You don't get your Trick or Treat, which is a modern anthology. And think about now on Shudder, the series we have. You have the new Creepshow, which is it's already got 3 seasons and shows no signs of slowing down. All these podcasts and other series that are anthology-based horror, like The Hidden Frequencies and The Hotel. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff, and I really do think that you have Halloween 3 kind of falls on a sword to establish that, hey, you can tell cool anthology formats after the initial death of the Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone and Night Gallery, Outer Limits really helped build this in the 60s, but the anthology storytelling format had kind of died off. It was kind of a TV thing. It wasn't done on film very much, and I think it was something that people weren't ready to accept, and hopefully now they are. And thank you for coming on this journey with me. It's been a lot of fun. I think I'll have to take a few weeks off before I watch Halloween 3 again, mainly because now, unfortunately, it's the 31st, and we've already got Christmas shit out, so I have to wage my war on Christmas now. And that means that Halloween stuff has to set to the side a little bit while I gear up to fight my next battle. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and stick around. We hope to have some great new content coming out here in the next few weeks. Got some big plans, and hopefully we'll execute them. It's been crazy schedule-wise, personal lives. I know the production output has not been at the pace that it was earlier this year, and we're hoping to shore that up. I've got another wedding that I've got to attend this next week, and got some more convention travel to do, but we got some cool stuff coming up, and so excited for what the rest of 2021 holds, and we've got some big plans for 2022 that we do plan to deliver on. So thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe and like if you haven't already, and get ready for the next big adventure. But first of all, make sure you tune in for the big giveaway tonight. You're not going to want to miss it.
And watch. All witches, all skeletons, all jack-o'-lanterns.
The third
Gather
commercial,
round
it's
and
still on,
watch.
please.
Watch
Take off the
magic
third channel,
unfold.
the third channel, it's still running. Stop it, please, for God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time. You've got to, please, stop it now, turn it off. Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.